Hey guys, I want to welcome you and let you know how great it is to have you here for the Greater Purpose podcast.
What's with the Cubs stuff?
You're in the Cubs room. Here we are, guys. Welcome to the Greater Purpose podcast. And the peanut gallery back there cheering us on. And our guest today is Alex Faraday. Let's hear it for Alex.
Thank you for having me on.
Man, glad you can make it. So we don't want to get into too many details because you're going to share a lot of stuff here as we go forward. But just introduce yourself to the podcast family there.
I'm Alex Faraday. I grew up here since 91. We moved down from Boston. My dad worked for Siemens Medical, and they downsized whatever job he had up there. And so there was an opening here, and I think one in Texas. So glad he picked here. North Carolina is a great state.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. Awesome. That's great. Good introduction there. By the way, if you're hearing noises in the background, this is the day that my neighbor decided to work on his motorcycle. So if you hear that, we may try to edit some of that out. We can't always do that. It's also the day that the guy who wanted to fixing my garage door. This is the day and the time he decided to do that. So just in case you're hearing any of that, that's what it is. You may not hear it, but if you hear us talking about it, you'll know why. So anyway, so I always try to start out just a little bit because I've met almost everybody that we're interviewing. Well, everybody so far, and there may be some people on here that I haven't had a chance to meet. But you, as far as you go, I like to observe guys in their godly mannerisms, I guess you could say. So whether these guys know it or not, you're being observed by other guys like us who are trying to walk the Christian walk. So that's what inspired me to ask you to be on here, because I see you with your family. I see you with your commitment to your faith, with your commitment to your even your politics, even from a Christian perspective to your politics. So I thought it'd be really cool to have you on here. So let's jump right in here. When did you first recognize the importance of being a godly man?
Well, my family's always been in church. So we grew up going to church every Sunday. I remember when I was a teenager, teenagers tend to stay up late. So I would sleep in or try to sleep in, and my dad would come in and flip the mattress over on me. He never poured any water on me. But he'd come in and I'd get bugged for an hour or two. And then when it got about 15 minutes before we had to leave, he'd come in and flip the mattress over, and I'd have to get up and go. But I like going to church now. Our pastor he's not just content with preaching canned sermons, or he's always looking for the deeper truths.
It's awesome.
And that's something that the older, well, I say older, about 100 years ago, like Watchman Nee and Taylor Hudson and Andrew Murray and I've forgotten it, George Mueller. And they were all about the deeper truths and the deeper faith, and not just living a nominal Christian life. And it's the encounters they all say that they had with the Holy Spirit. It's so much more than most people have today.
Right.
Hardly anyone, really.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the question was.
Your importance of when you first recognized the importance of being a godly man. It sounds like when your dad flipped the mattress on you.
That wasn't it. That wasn't it. But
shortly after that,
I guess around the time I got married, maybe just before. Yeah, probably just before.
Yeah.
You want to raise your family in the faith. And so when I was in my early 20s, I think I stopped going to church for a while. And it wasn't really because I didn't necessarily want to. I had a third shift job on the weekends, and I never missed work. I worked maybe 117 weekends in a row, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. I've never missed a shift of work.
Right. You're a hardworking guy. I do know that.
So I would usually be asleep until 12 because I work third shift. And I don't know, just kind of got out of the habit of going to church, which is not a good thing.
Right.
But we started going back to church when I met Shay, and the kids, we brought the kids to church ever since they were born.
Yep. Gotcha. So, well, that's good. Yeah, that's cool. So it was a slow process, it sounds like, or maybe a process, a jump and a back and a forth. But anyway, so who through that period of time, who would you say was your greatest inspiration as far as saying, hey, this is now you mentioned your pastor, but is there anybody else that you could think of that has been your greatest inspiration as realizing that you need to live your life as a godly man, father, husband, etc.? Who would have been your greatest inspiration for that?
It probably is my pastor.
Yeah, that's cool.
But
and you can say his name.
Steve McCraney.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Pastor Steve.
I was going to say it later for the 5 people, but no.
Okay. Oh, you can use him.
I'm still going to use it.
You can still do that. You can still do that later. That'll work. Good.
Yeah.
All right. That's cool. So, how do you feel that you've been most effective, in affecting other lives, other men's lives, young men, older men, whatever men you might be around? How do you think you've been most? What is your most efficient use of the gifts that God's given you to affect other lives, other men's lives? Or
I feel like I could do more, but joining the groups like you have, I've always been looking. One of my favorite verses, and I had to look up which verse it was, but
that's okay.
As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, and it's Proverbs 27:17.
Yeah.
I think about it probably every day, every other day, but I don't necessarily think of the verse.
That was, that's why I said what I said at the breakfast.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that guy. I mean, I'm just not a memorization kind of guy.
Well, I do like memorizing.
Do you? That's good. Well, see, I'm not. So I'm really good at knowing how to apply principles. But like you said, I got to
matters really.
You got to look it up. I got to look stuff up. So
yeah.
So staying involved in men's groups, Christian men's groups, that kind, and at your church, of course, that kind of thing.
Yeah. And men are under such attack now with toxic masculinity garbage.
Well, and here's something I can say too, analyzing or observing whatever from your interactions at the GOP. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is not a political program, but I'm not ashamed of that. So seeing your interactions with your wife and your children and at the GOP functions and that kind of stuff, and then interacting with a bunch of different guys at a breakfast is extremely important. I think that's why we do what we do. So so that's what you're saying as far as building into as far as affecting other men's lives just by being involved and networking and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
cool. I like it. That's great. All right, so you are going to give us your fast 5. But because I did not explain it very well, I didn't explain it very well. I will take the blame. Of course, if my producer was on the ball back there, he might have explained it a little bit better. He's clearing his throat back there. But it was
probably my throat.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, that was not intended as anything else?
It was definitely.
Okay. All right. So we're going to mix up the fast 5 here on Alex, or he's going to mix it up.
It's
on
more like
us.
a buffet, a pick and
The fast 5 buffet. Okay. So we gave you some categories of, I'm going to tell them the categories so they know where you're going here. 5 of men who have inspired you, women who have inspired you, favorite heroes of the faith, and then Bible favorites like an Old Testament, New Testament, that Psalm, anything like that. So you're going to mix it up on us. So go ahead.
Okay. Men that have inspired me. It's mostly, I guess, older heroes of the faith, but definitely our pastor.
Yep.
He always brings.
Wait a minute. You just called your pastor an older hero of the faith.
Oh, well, he's somewhat old. He's somewhat not as old as my parents go to a different church.
Yeah.
Their pastor is 92.
No way. Wow.
No kidding. He actually gets around. I mean, the Lord has kept him.
That's awesome.
Kept him up. He speaks without that rasp that older people get. He gets around. He's really a great guy.
That's awesome. That's
our
cool.
pastor isn't quite that old.
Ah, gotcha. Is he older than me?
I believe so. Yeah, if the person is older than you, that's
wow.
So
Oh wow. Yeah, see, you see what happens in the Cubs room? Things just come flying out that people would never normally say to your face. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
no.
Right,
When you're
it's cool.
20, someone who's 30 is ancient.
I get it.
I
Oh
thought,
yeah.
I thought 30
yeah.
was ancient until
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
29.
I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
I'm 60 now, and it's crazy looking back, thinking that people, like you said, when you're 19, you think somebody 29 is old. It's crazy. So, all right. So your pastor is a hero for you.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Got it. Okay. So you're gonna do. So you have a woman who is your hero that you pick. No. Okay. Never mind. So he really mixes it up. I don't know. This is like a salad, right? More than a
Yeah.
buffet. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So give me
Okay.
4 more some things.
George Mueller. He
Yep.
built.
You said George Mueller. Yeah.
He
Okay.
built all the 4 massive orphanages in I forget the city, but in England,
Mhm.
and he never asked for a donation ever, not one time.
Wow, that's cool.
He housed, I think at the height, a fourth of all the orphans in England, just on faith. So he would, I guess the Lord would place a vision on him,
Yeah.
or place a burden on his heart for the homeless children.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't ever ask for money. People would just show up, and just to have that kind of faith is just crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's pretty cool.
Never asked for a single donation ever from anyone. He kept a record of the donations, how much it was, but not even the person's name. So we wouldn't be giving out credit.
Yeah. Well, and of course we've already had our Godly Men's Conference, but that is exactly what we try to portray through the greater purpose of a Godly Man Conference is activate the vision or the burden or whatever it is God has put on you as a godly man. Activate it, put it into place, work on it. We can't just sit back and do nothing. Unfortunately, there have been some men who have said, well, God's just gonna, okay. God can do anything he wants. I totally get that. But he uses us to do that.
Correct.
So George Mueller, great. Awesome. I'm sorry, I said Mueller. Okay.
Mueller is the German pronunciation.
I know, right? Yeah, that's why I did that, because we were
Yeah.
talking about that the other day. That's right, exactly. So, all right, so that's 2. Give me 3 more.
Whenever I have to think of stuff off the top of my head.
Okay.
Jim Elliot.
Yeah.
The quote I always think of from him, and I've known it for a long time, but my pastor recently refreshed my memory in the service. Let me get the quote right. It's, he is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose.
Yeah.
And he was, of course, a minister to the Indians in South America, and was unfortunately killed in his ministry, along with several others.
Right.
But I believe,
and knowing that was a possibility before he went.
Oh yeah, he definitely,
but then the story afterwards, of course, we know.
Oh yeah, his ministry actually did take hold, and his wife found out years later, and I think his son went down.
Yeah, she even went back, I think.
Yeah, she went back. Yeah.
And
the Indians basically
embraced them
embraced them
and actually repented and got saved. It was great. Yeah,
many of them.
Yep.
So it was not in vain.
Right.
It was not in vain.
Well, and there are a lot of there's so many people we could pick out that we could say those were examples of that exact same thing, where they were determined to do what God said to do, even though they knew that there was a 99.9% chance they were going to lose their lives. But yeah, definitely. So he was one of them. So
I think of that, similar to that young gentleman who tried to minister to the Indians. I know it's near India. It's a small island of uncontacted people.
Oh, okay.
And that was only a year or 2 years ago. And he had brought them a Bible. He successfully kind of contacted them once, and then the second time, I think they killed him, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hopefully that ministry bears fruit.
Sure.
The Indian government doesn't allow people to talk to them because of the fear of disease, that might wipe them out.
Right. Gotcha. So, well, yeah. And
but on the counterpoint, the Bible commands that the word has to be brought to everyone. So you actually, in that case, have to break the law for the higher law of God.
Yeah. Oh gosh, we could get a whole new.
Yeah.
We could get into a whole political thing like that.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that's what we should have done on this one, right? We should have made this the political.
Oh yeah. The letter from the Birmingham jail. He talks about Martin Luther King Jr. He talks about how there is a moral law and an immoral law.
Right, correct.
And that could go on a long
Sure,
time.
right,
So
absolutely. Yeah, we don't want to do that. That'll
Yeah.
be longer than the 20 minutes that
It
we've
definitely
been.
would be. It
We're
definitely
actually
would
the podcast originally was going to be 13 minutes. So, but we've gone into 20, closer to 20. But we're okay. We're,
Oh yeah,
we're
that's
good.
fine.
Great.
That's fine.
All right. So, do you want to give me one more, or do you want to go into a wrap up, or what do you want to do? You tell me. You got one more.
I think
You can play it if you want it. Play your card or not play your card. What he's egging you on.
I think we'll go into the wrap up.
Okay, go into the wrap up.
I can't always think of everything
that's cool.
on the spot.
That's no problem at all.
I'm
So
sort of a preparation guy. I like to plan everything. The only thing I don't like about spontaneity is you can't plan for it.
yeah,
So-
yeah, gotcha. Right. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, by the way, he was not supposed to be here the whole time. He was supposed to disappear before the beginning, but we left him up there, and I didn't want to interrupt. So I don't know if that looks like anybody familiar to you, but anybody?
Now, is that
That's
actually
me.
you?
It
Okay.
is.
I didn't know if that was a bit with
Nope,
the
that
podcast
is.
or it
That's really
actually
me.
was you. I couldn't figure out.
So what we've told everybody too, that is Willie Ace, I show him the back of it, and then it says Cubs fan since 1962, which is when I was born. So my mom says I was born a Cubs fan. So there you go. But Willie Ace is an old nickname, and so far we have not divulged the what's the word I'm looking for? The story, the heritage, whatever.
Yeah.
We have not divulged where that name came from, but we're going to do that in a certain podcast. We're just not going to
Right
tell
now?
anybody. No, not right
Oh,
now.
no.
Not now. So when that does happen, though, you'll have to be watching. So then you'll know. Maybe somebody will tell you, hey, that's the one to watch. But whatever, you got to watch them all. So do you have a sports story for us? That's part of our wrap up.
Yes. I'm
All right, he's got a
I'm not
sports
that
story.
into sports.
That's okay.
but-
Sports related stories is what we should say.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mother always says they were watching the Red Sox in the I believe it was the pennant or the World Series, I forget.
Mhm.
But I was born during the game where Bill Buckner
yes, Billy
Bill
Buck.
Buckner missed
Oh my
the-
goodness. Wow.
the grounder.
What a
and
tie-in.
lost them the
I got
World
it.
Series.
There's a Billy Buckner. There's like Billy Buckners all over the place here. There's one. Here he is right here. You guys can't see
Oh
him.
yeah.
He's on
yeah.
the wall right there.
His name is Mud in Boston.
Oh my goodness. Well, they did invite him back and they kind of forgave him and stuff. So
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
now that they've won 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, now they
World
don't care.
Series.
and that
Yeah.
was so that was so
Oh.
unfair because that just one error does not cost you the whole game. But that's
Well,
the way
it did.
Yeah, I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, he's throwing my man under the bus. Look at that. Hey, we got to
No,
throw him
I'm
out.
saying
kidding.
it did.
I know. Technically.
But
yeah.
yeah,
They shouldn't have been at that point, but yeah, I
Yeah,
get what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and really, honestly, we're joking about that, and that's okay. But if you read stories about him that his wife has done interviews on after he passed away, he never did live it down. He really honestly
yeah.
he had some serious issues, psychological, which I get it. I can understand how you
Yeah.
would feel that way. So,
Was he demonized too much? Yes, probably.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
but you're in Boston.
But
Boston, New
baseball
York,
is-
Chicago, LA,
yeah.
you're going to be
Baseball is so big there.
Yeah.
It's just
right. Yeah, they could have forgiven him a little bit easier. They did the same thing with Bartman and the Cubs.
No.
I still don't like him. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. But anyway, so all right, cool. So you were there. They watched it. You were born then. You said.
Yeah. It was either during that game or very close to it. But she was watching that game while she was in the hospital.
So that's why you're a Red Sox fan. You got a Red Sox fan.
Yeah,
Here, so,
yeah.
But anyway, so all right. So we should actually, instead of giving you this, we should actually give you a Billy Buckner card, but I'm not going to give you one. So
No.
if I would have known that ahead of
I'll have to hide
time, I would have given you one on purpose. So what happens now is we show your wonderful parting gifts. First of all, you will receive your own autographed. It's not autographed yet, so I'm showing you. I'm going to autograph it before Alex leaves here. Your own autographed Willie Ace. Got my own Chicago Cubs baseball card. It really is me. So I know that's a goofy getup I wore at the parade in Stanley
Wow.
after they won the World Series. So we'll show you that card sometime.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Yep.
They also had a dry spell like the Red Sox.
100
Wasn't it even longer?
100 years, I think it was. It's up there on the wall.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, it was terrible. But I got
Yeah.
my World Series. I'm happy. You also receive, as a parting gift, this wonderful bottle of hand sanitizer. Oh, wow. My peanut gallery is dead back there. Anyway, so yes, Mr. Bill's STEM Education and Bill Ward Photography Hand sanitizer. I know it's something you really need.
Yeah. During the pandemic,
We
this
get
would have
this
been
one.
about $60.
Yeah, right. Right. So I'll tell the story on these because we really are giving these away, except so far every guest but one has left them in here. Yeah, it's not working out too well. So during that, right at the end of the pandemic or whatever, who knows? Is it still going on? It's officially over
It's
now.
still going on.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so Staples had these labels with the bottle. The bottle with the label printed with your business on it was less than an actual bottle.
Really?
Like if you went and bought a bottle.
Yeah.
They were like 25 cents a piece. So I
Oh.
thought, oh, this is great. I'll buy these. And I gave them out to my schools and all that kind of stuff. And put
Yeah.
But I still have like 1,000 of them. Not really that many. A couple hundred. But anyway, so that's one of your party gifts. Do not leave without that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We will make sure
I definitely need this.
Yep, absolutely. That's good. And the most exciting thing is you get to choose from some brand new Lego superhero. Wait, let me get one. Here's mine right here. Where's the Falcon? Where'd Falcon go? Oh wow, he disappeared. He's gone. No, where's he at? Falcon. We've been showing the Falcon. He's gone, but that's okay.
Is this something I can give?
He is replaced. He is replaced. No, you have to keep this.
Oh, I have to get. Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
He has been replaced because I finally got an Iron Man because I am Iron Man. See, got my Iron Man. Okay, so he gets to choose before he leaves. He gets to choose from. Oh, not that empty one. You get to choose from. Not that either. I'm not picking all that up. He gets to choose from. And why? You say why a Lego superhero?
Why,
you say
why a Lego actually?
Why a Lego superhero? I knew he was going to say that because STEM stands for what? Science, technology, engineering, and you have to. And what is engineering? Is building
Legos.
You're building, right? So you're building the Lego. You like the tie? How you like the tie in there? Is that great?
Some of those videos my son watches, they build some crazy stuff out of Legos.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And we're going to have some crazy stuff in here. I'm working on it. You're going to love it when we get it done. So it's just not ready yet. So, because there's so many things going on. So anyway, Alex, great to have you here. I appreciate you and your family. You are a blessing. And, you're a good man. We appreciate you. God bless you. Thanks for coming.